Alright guys, let's talk Air Max 95s. I'm sure you noticed that behind me is a human skeleton. The reason why that's there is the inspiration behind the Air Max 95s was actually the human body. In front of me, I have 5 pairs of DJ AM's Air Max 95s. I want to walk you through these shoes and we'll talk about what makes the Air Max 95 so special. So the first one that I want to whip out is the Air Max 95 Classic. It was released in 2006. This is the OG colorway of the Air Max 95, and it's known as cool gray and neon yellow. And it's so popular that there's a ton of different Nike shoes that are cool gray and neon yellow, not just these Air Max 95s. So you'll notice right away that there's no big giant swoosh on this shoe. And that was a really big deal at the time because Nike Air Maxes always had a big giant swoosh. A huge innovation in the Air Max 95 is the visible air right up in the front. Before this model, Air Maxes only had visible air around the heel, not up in the front. But this one changed the game. So I said before that this shoe is inspired by the human body. The midsole and sole represent the spine. The different layers of suede represent muscles. The neon yellow lace loops and straps represent the rib cage, and then this breathable mesh upper is going to represent the skin. When these shoes released in 2006, they were gone immediately. When I was giving tours to the Nike executives at the ShoeZeum, I actually learned that cool gray Air Jordan 11s were inspired by cool gray Air Max 95s. And I never would have saw that coming because there's no neon yellow anywhere on the cool gray Air Jordan 11 like there is on the 95. But you can see that the gray is the exact same shade and the sleek, smooth look of this shoe is sort of mimicked in its predecessor. Let's set it up on display back here. You can kind of compare and contrast, and then we'll get into the next of DJ AM's Air Max 95s. The next one I want to talk about is the one time only. It was also released in 2006, and it's a hybrid of the Air Max 95 in the original colorway and the Air Max 360. In 2006, Air Max 360s were a big deal. You'll notice that the midsole and sole of this shoe has big air. And this was the biggest air that Nike had ever put into a shoe at the time. And Nike made some of its signature, iconic running shoes. They did it with the Air Max 90, the 95, the 97. They created the one-time only pack. And this is the best of all the 95s. Love them. So I said before that this colorway has been so popular that it's been done again and again and again. And I want to show you a pair of Air Force Ones that came out in 2007, and they were inspired by these cool gray 95s. So in 2007, it was the 25th anniversary of the Air Force One, and Nike celebrated this shoe's anniversary by taking it as a silhouette and having all sorts of iconic Nike sneakers represented as Air Force Ones. This shoe's very special to me because of how I obtained it. So for many years, I bought sneakers at Nike outlets and resold them on eBay for profit. I remember being in Gilroy, California, and seeing a rack of these shoes for $59.99. They had 60 pairs of them. And it was a friends and family sale, so it was 30% off. After the sale, they were going to come to $42 plus tax. And I knew I could sell them for $150 and more online. So I had to get them. Anybody that shops in bulk at Nike outlets knows that you can only buy 10 pairs of shoes per person per day. But I was not about to leave that store with just 10 of these. So I figured out that the smart thing to do was to buy them 4 pairs at a time. And so it took a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of trips to the registers, but I ended up getting 56 pairs of these shoes in about 3 hours, 4 at a time. The store was so packed, it was a Saturday, and it was a friends and family sale, that there were so many different cashiers and registers going that I was able to methodically buy a few and go here, and buy a few and go there, and buy a few and go there. And it was things like this that actually led Nike to ban me from their stores. So anyway, we'll put these on display next to the one-time onlys, and we'll work our way through Adam's other shoes. These are the Blends Air Max 95s. There's only 95 pairs in the world. They came in a Nike ID box. Blends is a sneaker boutique in Southern California. I used to buy a lot of shoes there when I lived in San Diego, so these shoes are very special to me. Then we'll work our way over here to a pair of vintage Air Max 95s. They're from 2000. I think of vintage Nikes as 2000 and before. I just love this clean, dark charcoal colorway with the 3M accents on the back. What makes this shoe so special is if you look very closely at the sole, you'll see that it says 20 PSI, 25 PSI, and 5 PSI. Back in the early days of the Air Max 95, they actually put tuned air into the soles and midsoles, so there was different PSIs, pounds per square inch, in the front and in the back of the shoe to give you maximum support, stability, and comfort. There's no more PSI anything, there's no more tuned air in 95s these days, but this is a really early example of the early technology that was in 95s for the first few years of its existence. Then the last pair from DJ AM's collection are the Stash Air Max 95s. These are very, very rare. Stash is a graffiti artist. This is his signature colorway of shoes. He also has a pair of Air Classic BWs and Air Force Ones in this very same colorway. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed walking through Adam's 5 95s and also learning some of the history of the Air Max 95. If you go on eBay and search for ShoeZeum Air Max 95, I'm listing a bunch of them from the collection.